What's really good? What's really good? What's really good? Welcome back to another episode of the Sanchez Show. This is the official Game 3 pregame, leading up to tonight's NBA Finals matchup in Dallas. Boston and firm control up 2-0. We got a lot to get into. Shout out to all the supporters. I see all the comments, questions. We're going to get to them, and those are all great questions as well. So we're going to get to all that. But first things first, I want to remind everyone, make sure you are subscribed to the Sanchez Show, streaming across all major platforms. Make sure you subscribe to Real Fans Real Talk. My brother Trip Young, we're about to bring him in right now. He's tapping in with us tonight. Across all major platforms. Again, YouTube. We go live on Facebook, Spotify. Lock in with us. Let's bring Trip Young. Let's bring him in right now. Trip, I was just doing the intro as you was logging in, my brother.
What's going on? What's going on? Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we got you. We ready to rock and roll. You know how we do, man. We got an hour before tip-off. We got a lot of great questions and comments. As I was reminding everyone, make sure they subscribe to the Sanchez Show and Real Fans Real Talk. Make sure they're following us across all social media platforms. We got Game 3 tonight. We got to get into that. Before we do, though, we're going to start off by expressing our condolences. A legend passed away today. The logo, Jerry West, passed away today. Obviously been the logo for the NBA for quite some time. There's been talks about possibly replacing the logo, and you wonder if that conversation will come up again. But Trip, just to run down the resume for people that may not know, Jerry West, even though he was a one-time NBA champion as a player, he's an 8-time NBA champion as an executive, 2-time executive of the year. He's the only player to win the Finals MVP in a losing effort. That was back in '69. 14-time All-Star, 10-time first-team All-NBA, obviously part of the NBA 50 and the NBA 75 team. For his career, 27, 5, and 6. Give us your quick thoughts on Jerry West.
I mean, the man was the logo. Like when you just say that, like I don't even think there's anything else that really needs to be said. When you're the logo of something, like your image is the logo of the NBA, which is housed the greatest basketball players of all time, including the GOAT Michael Jeffrey Jordan. But he's the logo. Like the amount of respect and props that you got to give to Jerry West for being the logo just shows the talent level that he had, the work that he put in while he was, a player. Obviously, I know he would have wanted a couple more chips, but it's kind of tough. He kept running into that brick wall in the East Coast in Beantown. But just everything that he's done as a player, and then to move on as an executive, and to still be just as good as an executive as he was as a player, building championship teams in different places. You gotta show so much love and respect for Jerry West. I actually, even from watching the series on HBO, the Showtime, the Lakers series, I even started liking Jerry West even more after seeing like his character be. Even though I know it's a little loosely based, but it just made me rock with him even more.
Yeah, that's a fact. Jerry West, obviously one of the greatest of all time. As a player, his career was always overshadowed by Boston because he could never get over the hump. So ironically, he passes as the Celtics possibly on the verge of winning another NBA Finals. But overall, the resume is the resume. Shout out, he said his dad said Jerry West is the third best guard of all time. It's very possible. I mean, a lot of people kind of overlook Jerry West and immediately throw Dwayne Wade in that conversation. But I do think it is Jerry West. I think Jerry West is the third greatest guard of all time. An impactful figure. And I think what he's done for the game overall, not just as a player, again, as an executive, he built dynasties with the Lakers as an executive. He is the man responsible for trading for Kobe Bryant and understanding the vision, because that's the same summer that he goes out and gets Shaq from Orlando and then says, I'm going to go trade for this high schooler who I think can make, and with Shaq, become one of the greatest duos in NBA history. So Jerry West deserves a lot of credit. And as you mentioned, shout out to Showtime. This series based around that early 80s Lakers team, that dynasty, Magic Johnson, the star of it. But Jerry West, when he transitioned into the front office away from being the coach, because people forget he was the coach before Magic got there. When he transitioned to the front office, he was responsible for building that team and making the draft selections and trades that turned that into the dynasty of the 80s.
Yep.
But let's get into some things tonight. Trip, we got a big game tonight. It's Game 3. So, we had to put a little something in the cup for tonight. We just getting started because it's the pregame.
Yes.
Let's get to the first question of the night. Shout out to Justin. Justin was first one in here. Jerry West passed away. Just take a few minutes. We went over that just, but we did want to acknowledge that you were the first question in here. And yes, he consulted with the Warriors. He consulted with the Clippers for a little bit as well. But we know Donald Sterling will get in his own way if possible. And Donald Sterling stopped some of the things Jerry West was trying to do for that organization. But Jerry West actually was with the Clippers. I mean, with the Warriors, I think the year after they drafted Steph. I don't think he was in the draft when they took Steph, but he was a part of the Klay Thompson draft, and he was a part of some of those other moves as a consultant for that team. Shout out to Terrence. Who has more pressure to perform great tonight? Kyrie or Jason? Trip, I'm going to let you start. I mean Jason, he means Tatum, obviously.
Well, okay, so because I know they're saying Porzingis is day to day. If Porzingis is not playing tonight, then the pressure is on Jason Tatum because what your big three had been Jaylen Brown, Porzingis, and Drew Holiday. You would like the fourth member on the squad. So if Porzingis is not playing, then that means you're gonna have to step all the way up. It can't be no more 16 points. You're gonna have to put up some buckets tonight to compensate for what you're not gonna get from Porzingis, and you're gonna have to switch up, and you might have to guard, different positions that you might not want to guard because Porzingis is not there. You might have to step in and help out. But if Porzingis plays, then I would say all the pressure is on Kyrie because you kind of been stinking up the joint the first two games in Boston. Now you have a chance. It's game 3 back on your home floor.
I apologize. We have a little issue with the connection. Trip, let me know if you're good. We get you back in so you can finish that thought. It went out on mine, but check. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm so okay. I think because you're still frozen. But yeah, if Porzingis is playing, then it's on Kyrie. He hasn't played well the first 2 games. He has to really have a bounce back home stretch for these next 2 games. And if you go down 3-0 in this series, you might as well just pack your bags now and get ready to go on vacation because it's over. If you do go up, if you go 2-1, you got another chance at home. I think you can even the series out. So pressure is definitely on Kyrie in that situation. But we'll see when the game starts if Porzingis is going to be playing or not.
Now, Porzingis has already been ruled out for tonight.
Okay.
And there's been rumblings that he may actually miss both these games in Dallas as they try to see if they can steal a little bit of time and get him ready for a potential game 5 in Boston. To me, all the pressure tonight is on Kyrie. Tatum has shown, even though Tatum hasn't played well, Boston doesn't need him to play well. They have much more talent, they have much more depth, and they've gotten the great contributions from Drew Holiday, from Derek White, that they can sustain an off night for Tatum. Now, he can't shit the bed. He can't be that bad tonight. But if he plays the way he did in game 2, they can still survive. They've shown that. But Dallas needs Kyrie to show up to the party. They need Kyrie to be the leader that we were praising in the Western Conference Finals. They need him to take that type of mindset, and it starts tonight. I think there's an opportunity for him to get going again. You got 2 days to think about it. They didn't play since Sunday. They should be well rested. Kyrie, I think tonight you got to come out right away. You got to be aggressive. You got to look for your shot, and you got to get yourself going right away.
Do you think there's added pressure on the Celtics tonight to try and steal a win on the road because Porzingis is out? Or you think they're playing it lax? Like, all right, well, we up 2-0. If anything, if we got to come back, Porzingis take these 2 nights off, and then he'll come back for game 5.
I think I don't think there's added pressure because you go into Dallas with the mindset of knowing we just got to win 1. So if we get the opportunity to win tonight, let's win tonight. But if not, we're not going to be down on ourselves about it. We know we get an opportunity in game 4. As long as they can come out of Dallas with a split, Boston has done their job. So I don't think there's added pressure. The pressure is on Dallas because we know no team has ever come back from 3-0 before. So if you go down 0-3, the series is over and the season's probably over in the next couple of days. You got to win tonight, and you got to take advantage of it. If you're Dallas and you can't win tonight without Porzingis on the court, then you really start to wonder, how can we even win a game in the series? If we can't beat them with Porzingis, if we can't beat them without Porzingis, what chances do we even have, let alone, of course, 0-3, you're not coming back from that.
Well, the series is over if you lose game 3 without Porzingis.
Right.
You might as well pack it up, like I said. Where's the vacation spot?
Right. So, and it'll also be interesting. One of the things I've talked about before the series, we haven't had to see it because Porzingis, I think, has played better than we even thought he would.
Yeah.
How would Joe Mazzulla handle the minutes at center if Porzingis wasn't healthy? That was one of the questions I had before game 1. Porzingis has played so well in the first 2 games that he didn't have to worry about it. Now, Can Horford give him 35 to 38 minutes tonight? Will we have to see Luke Cornett at some point tonight? Or
boy, Eric.
I'm just saying because I'm just saying that because Dallas always keeps one big on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
So Boston, now Boston could get tricky with the rotations, and Boston may go with like a smaller all forward and guard lineup where it's just Tatum, Brown, Holiday, White, and maybe Peyton Pritchard or Sam Hauser, just another shooter out there. And you don't go with a traditional center; you just go with the two forwards and 3 guards. They could do that. But if they go that route, then I wonder if the Mavs double down and say, all right, now we're going to just start throwing it into the post to Gafford, which isn't their normal offense. But we saw at the end of game 2, when they were giving it to him in the post, he was having a lot of success with that little floater and that little hook right in the paint. So that could be the cat and mouse game where Joe Mazzulla says, I don't have another big to play. If it isn't Horford on the floor, I'm not going to trust Luke Cornett. I don't have another guy I can play in that spot. So therefore, it's going to have to be Tatum or Brown who's going to have to guard at the 5. That'll be, something to pay attention to.
And that's what I was saying earlier when I said Tatum may have to guard some positions that he may not be as comfortable with guarding, but sometimes he might have to give you some minutes at the 5 in order for them to compensate for not having Porzingis. Because to be honest with you, Eric, as much respect as we have for Al Horford, 30 to 35 minutes is really asking a lot of Al Horford. So
yeah.
This, and again, this is going to be where we see the coaching adjustments, because how are you going to compensate for you can't run Horford out there like that. So how are you gonna compensate and mix things up to try to come and get this win here tonight?
Yeah. So tonight is going to be very interesting to see how Joe Mazzulla coaches it. One of the things I'm going to pay attention to tonight, because and let me know if you noticed this, Trip, or if you agree or disagree with me on this. And same thing with the supporters in the comment section. I feel like in game 1 and game 2, the refs have allowed a lot of physical play on defense. And I'm okay with that. Let the players determine it. It hasn't been a lot of ticky-tack fouls. We haven't seen anybody in real foul trouble. There hasn't been any free throw disparity. I wonder if that continues tonight. I wonder if tonight becomes the night where the refs become more involved, and it leads to the conspiracy theories of people saying, hey, they trying to let Dallas win one. Because I feel like in game 1 and game 2, they have allowed both teams to be very, very physical defensively. And no one's been in foul trouble. There haven't been a lot of complaints about the free throws either way. It's been settled on the court. And Boston has been the better of the two teams through the first 2 games. I just wonder if the refs get more involved tonight. Game 3. How can the Mavs win game 3? I'm gonna start this one off. Shout out to Terrence on this one. They got to shoot the 3-ball better. It's something that I highlighted on Monday Nights Live. They got to shoot the 3-ball better. They have won the points in the paint in game 1 and game 2. So I expect that to continue tonight, especially without Porzingis. But if they're going to go 7 for 27 or 6 for 26, the way they did in game 1 and game 2, they have no chance of winning, because we know Boston has more talent top to bottom on their team. Tonight, we need Kyrie to be more aggressive, but more importantly, I need PJ Washington to be able to knock down like 2-corner 3-pointers. I need Derrick Jones to be able to knock down a 3-pointer here or there to make the defense at least respect them. Because right now, Boston has no respect for their shooters outside of Luka. I don't know if you saw this graphic, Trip. Through the first 2 games, Luka's the only person on Dallas that has made more than 1 3-pointer.
Yeah, I think he had like 4.
Yeah, he's made 4. Everyone else is just single digits. Yeah. So there's no reason for Boston to respect the shooters. For the Mavs to win tonight, my personal opinion, they got to shoot the 3-ball better. What do you think, Trip?
Yeah, they got to come alive. This is a team that we spoke about. They got here shooting the 3, and they have not been knocking down shots games 1 and game 2. Sometimes, home cooking helps out. They get to go back to Dallas. Not much less pressure, but a little less pressure, because you got home court tonight. You got the fans' energy in the building. But you have to knock down those shots. The guys that you mentioned that's been knocking down big shots for them all year long have been quiet. So if they come in and lay another egg, it's not too far to say that Boston goes up 3-0 in this series. But yeah, you need guys to start stepping up, making those shots. Kyrie especially, he has to kind of lead the torch tonight. I want to see a 30-30 night from him and Luka tonight, along with a couple of those guys, not just PJ, but a couple of those guys knocking down at least 2 threes tonight. I need to see at least 3 other guys knock down 2 threes tonight.
They need
been doing
They
nothing.
need the effort. Terrence said, "Y'all really believe in Mavs have a chance?" LOL. Listen, I think the first two games have told us what we need to know. Boston is the better team. And I don't think we disputed if Boston was a better team. I think when I made my prediction, I said I thought Boston was a better team. I thought Dallas had the best player and the better coach. And that's why I took Dallas to win this series. But keep in mind, Terrence, 2-0 is not something that's insurmountable. This is one of those situations where the series can flip very quickly. And I think what we're wondering, as well as everybody else, is the Porzingis injury that thing that flips this series? Because if, as I mentioned, and not to deal in only hypotheticals, if Dallas, they went 6 for 26 shooting the three the other night. If they go 10 for 26, they probably win that game.
Yeah.
And 10 for 26, I mean, again, you're still shooting less than 50%. But the fact that you're able to make a couple more and make the defense respect you opens up the driving lanes now more. But they can't hit a three. Everything else about Dallas's game, I think, has been sustainable and will continue to be sustainable. Like I mentioned, their points in the paint. They had some bad turnovers at the end of game two, but other than that, overall, they protected the ball the best they can. So I think there's opportunities there for Dallas. And also, let's not forget, Terrence, a couple years ago when Phoenix was up 2-1 in Milwaukee, we thought that series was over. And then Giannis, who was the best player in the series, started playing like the best player in the series, and Milwaukee won the next four. Right? There are plenty of instances of teams being down 0-2 and then righting the ship, and then it's like, all right, we get it going. When D-Wade beat the Mavs, they were down 0-2. And then D-Wade turned into the best player in the series, and they won the next four. So that's why I'm not going to write off Dallas, because I still think Luka is the best player in this series. And if he turns into like the most dominant player, he's played well, but if he starts dominating the game, similar to what Giannis did 2 years ago or 3 years ago against Phoenix, similar to what D-Wade did against Dallas, we're having a different conversation about the series. Also, we're saying all this because we know, even though the Mavs are down 0-2, we haven't seen a good Kyrie moment yet in the series. So if Kyrie goes for 25 the other night, we're not even talking 30. If he goes for 25 the other night, Dallas has a chance to win game two. And that's what Dallas is banking on. Boston has been a better team, Terrence. Nobody's disputing what Boston has been able to do. But let's not act like Luka isn't the best player in the series. And if he turns it on, things could change, especially now with Porzingis out. That's just my thoughts on it. Let's get back to some of these other ones up here that we got, though. Again, make sure you guys are following Trip Young and myself across all social media platforms. Make sure you are subscribed to the Sanchez Show as well as Real Fans Real Talk. We'll be back next week on Monday because Sunday is Father's Day. So we'll be back on Monday. What do we got here? This is from Justin. Oh, actually, let's go to this one. Let's go to this one first. Kyrie Thompson. He wants to know, is Drew Holiday a Hall of Famer if he wins the title? And say he don't win the title, does he have a Hall of Fame resume? Trip, I'm going to let you start.
Yeah. I think even if he doesn't win the title, I think with the championship ring, with the all defense appearances that he has, I believe he is he at one time? Did he make All-Star team once? Gotta check on that one.
He's a so shout out to Kyrie. When I saw the question, I had logged in about 15 minutes before we went live, and I saw some of the question. When I saw this, it made me think, and I did a little research on this trip. So I'm gonna give you the numbers here. He is a 2-time All-Star, 3-time first team All Defense, 3-time second team All Defense. For his career, his averages are 16 points, 6 assists, 4 rebounds. If he wins this, obviously he would be a 2-time champion as well. But go ahead, go from there.
Yeah, I would say so because again, it's the Basketball Hall of Fame one, and they're gonna combine what he did in college with what he accomplished in the pros. But just off the resume that you just said from his pro resume, I think a second championship would not even, if anybody was questioning it, I think it would be absolutely clear. But I would say he's a Hall of Famer right now. You're talking about making 6 all defensive teams, being an NBA champion, 2-time All-Star. Yeah, I would say so. And then like I said, then if you want to throw in, some of the collegiate, Pac-10 all freshman team, National Player of the Year. You know what I'm saying? So I think, yeah.
I think so. When I first read the question, I was immediately going to dispute it because I didn't think the resume was strong enough.
An Olympic gold medal too.
Correct. That's the part I was going to add in as well. I think that's the one thing that changes it because, as you mentioned, it is the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame, not just the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that he has that gold medal, because they always want to factor in international play. Now, I think to me the bigger question is he a first ballot Hall of Famer? And that will remain to be seen because it's going to depend on who else is on that ballot that year. But if Ben Wallace
changes things,
right? But if Ben Wallace is a Hall of Famer, then I think Drew Holiday is a Hall of Famer.
Yeah,
because Drew Holiday was able to impact the game. Though Ben Wallace was a great defensive player, Drew Holiday was a much more well-rounded player overall. Like I said, averaging 16 points a game, being a pivotal point of 2 championship teams, 3 first team defense, second team. I think it's enough. I don't think he gets in on the first ballot, and that's where it gets a little tricky. But I think overall he will get in. And at this point, everybody kind of gets in. Kyrie said, don't forget, he will be a 2-time gold medal winner in a few months. It's a great point. You know, he's got one. We're going to talk about the Olympics. I did see a question in regards to the Olympic team and some of these guys heading over there after the series as well. Shout out to Kyrie on that. Let's see what else we got here. I want to get back. I know Justin had a great question here. Or statement. I got a feeling Tatum coming with a 40-piece wing dinner. I wonder if that's all flats though. But 40-piece tonight. What do you think about a 40-piece for him, Trip?
A 40-piece for
Tatum. Justin say he got a 40-piece. It might be some drums. It might be some flats.
It's all gonna be all flats because I just don't see him putting up 40 tonight. I'm sorry. Nothing that he's done in the series is telling me that he's about to drop 40 tonight. Even, and I'm not saying he's not going to have a good game, but you don't have to have 40. You know, that's 40. I would say is leaning towards a great game. But if he has anywhere from 28 to 32, I would say that's a way better game than he's had, as long as he's efficient. Because that's the other part of that. He's got to be efficient. But I don't know about 40. I was thinking first game on the road, he might try to step up and then it'll be in a loss. But I was thinking it'd be like around like 30.
So I'm gonna answer that question with the question for our supporters. Y'all put it in the comment section. Let me know. If he goes for 40, is that a good thing for Boston? Because personally, I don't think it is. I think they're better suited when he's in that 25-point range, but everyone else gets going. Because I think that's when they're deadliest and everybody's getting open 3-point shots and the ball movement is impeccable. So if he goes for 40, I wonder, will that be a hindrance on everyone else getting their shot and getting their offense going? That would be my question for that, Justin. He could go for 40. I'm not doubting it. Will it lead to a win, and will it be the best case scenario for them? Kyrie, I didn't forget about this one either. Is the door open for the Mavs with Porzingis out? I think so. I think it opens up an opportunity. Again, these series flip very quickly, as I mentioned. And with his rim protection, with his ability to space the floor as a shooter and as an offensive threat, it changes things on both sides. And now there's more pressure on Al Horford. And Joe Mazzulla is going to have to find minutes at the 5 for somebody. Somebody's going to have to take those minutes. And they've been quality minutes for Porzingis so far. So that's another thing you wonder. How does that change the substitution pattern? Who gets those minutes? How impactful can they be? Because we've seen Porzingis come in and give energy defensively and offensively. So that's a big part of that as well. There was one other one I had right here. The other Kyrie McKnight. I don't want to seem like a Debbie Downer, but I don't think the Mavs just match up with Boston. I see Boston by 8 tonight. Solid prediction. Show me your ticket, though. If you put it by 8, I want to know if you bet on it. But Trip, what do you think? Trip, what was your thoughts on that statement?
Well, I mean, I'm a firm believer that the Mavs win tonight, but the fact that Porzingis is out, and I really feel like it's going to go like this. Tatum is going to have his best game of the series, and they're going to lose. Like that, I think that's how it's going to be tonight.
Tatum have his best game of the series, and they lose tonight.
Yeah, okay. That's how it's going to go.
All right. Terrence, I see this question. I have not seen. I don't know if Trip. He said, "Did y'all see what Bob Cousy said yesterday?" I did not, but Trip, if you did, put me on.
So he basically said, because he's like 95, I think it is.
He's old as he now.
He'd like to see the Celtics win another championship before he dies.
Fair. Cousy was part of one of their greatest eras.
That's what he's supposed to say. So no pressure though, guys. No pressure. I know I'm
I
95.
mean,
I'm trying to hang on for y'all.
I got a confession. Since I was like 30, I was saying I want to see the Knicks win the championship before I die. No pressure though on the Knicks. Just and I ain't been 30 in a little while, so I just no pressure though. No pressure.
I'm just when your teams do get that ring, you be glad that your team's got the ring because it's teams that ain't got no rings.
Yeah, absolutely. Shout out to Rich Dre. This is something I've been thinking about as well, but Rich Dre brought it to the platform and we want to talk about it. Tim Hardaway Jr. Why don't the coaching staff give him a chance? He can spark them. We know Tim can get hot, but he's old, but he always can shoot you out of a game. LOL. So Trip, we kind of talked about this the other day, and we both don't know why. I still don't know why. Shout out to Hoop Baller Scoop. I believe he posted something today where I mentioned I don't understand what Kid has done with Tim Hardaway because the rotations have been inconsistent. Some nights he gets 12 minutes, some nights he only gets 5, some nights he doesn't play him at all. Yeah. So I don't know.
Tonight though, I think we see him tonight.
I think you have to.
And they get him a ball.
No disrespect to Jaden Hardy and Josh Green. Those are young, inexperienced guards playing in their first finals. They're also guys who cannot create their own offense. They need Luka to get them open and on the perimeter and wide open threes. That's when they're at their best. Hardaway, on the other hand, can actually get his own shot, get into the mid-range, and create his own offense and alleviate some of the pressure that Luka has been facing. I don't understand why Kid, especially early in the game. I'm big on early in the game. I want to put guys in here who are not scared of the moment.
Yes.
So I know Hardaway's not scared of the moment. Go give me about 4 minutes real quick. And let's see if maybe we can get a little offense going and get a little rhythm going for you. And then if it doesn't work, no harm, no foul. I just don't play you the rest of the game. But if it does work, then maybe I'll find another 4 to 6 minute stretch for you later on where you can get us a little bit more offense. But I think he's got to go to him tonight.
Yeah. So, you got to try something different. You have to change things up because especially when these other guys aren't knocking down shots, sometimes guy come off the bench, start lighting things up. He spark up the rest of the team. And then now you got a little run going on and we back in this thing. We done got a game and maybe 2.
Absolutely. Rich Dre, I know you got them 2 other statements. I'm gonna get to those in a second as well. Those are in regards to Team USA and after the season. But I know we're focusing on the finals right now. We're gonna get to the Team USA questions a little bit later on. We're close to about 30 minutes from tip off. Definitely gonna get through all the statements, questions, comments. Again, shout out to all the supporters that's rocking with us. This is the official Game 3 of the NBA Finals pregame with the Sanchez Show. See my brother Trip Young with me. For those of you that don't know, if you don't already subscribe, make sure you subscribe to Real Fans Real Talk. We're going to be live again on Monday. By then, we would have already seen Game 3 and Game 4. Hopefully, there's still some NBA to be played when we get together on Monday, Trip. Because if not, the rundown's going to look very sparse. We got to get through these next 2 games. Ron wants to know, talk about what Derek White means to the Celtics. Many teams will want him. Go ahead, Trip.
Yeah. Role player, two-way guard. We talk about dogs. I think he's one of them. He's been very much more aerodynamic since he shaved his head off bald, and he's been hooping now. But he's one of those role players. He's a glue guy. So he's somebody that you want on your team, guy that can rally the troops up. He's not gonna put up 30 a night on you, but he can put up buckets for you in clutch moments. And he can guard your best player or your second best player. So I like what he does for the Celtics.
My fault. He's been phenomenal for the Celtics. Great addition by Brad Stevens to this team, and his versatility. On most teams he would be your traditional point guard, but because this team has so many guys who can create offense, he can play off ball. Really good shooter. We've seen him at times during these playoffs where he's really carried them with his 3-point shooting. But his defense, I think, has really been the thing that sets him apart. His ability to guard multiple positions, doesn't matter whether you're a shifty guard, whether you're off ball guard. He's got multiple blocks in both the first 2 games as well. So he's been great. And he is one of those unsung heroes. If you want to win a championship, you need guys like Derek White. He's the type of guy you need on your team that just always brings more to the table than he takes off the table.
Crazy, because I'm trying to think when was the last time we had an all defensive backcourt and together with both guards made the all defensive team. That says a lot. You need that, especially when when maybe maybe even fifth best player on the team is all defense. You can't ask for more than that.
Yeah, it's a
You
great.
cannot ask for more than that. If arguably your fifth best player on the team is all defense, you're doing pretty good for yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. Kyrie again wants to know if the Celtics win this title and bring back most, they can make on a run, meaning maybe 2 titles in 4 years type shit. Um, yes. So I think they're in position because not just the totality of the roster, but those two guys that we talk about all the time, Brown and Tatum. When you've got two all-star caliber players, both in their 20s, two guys that are all NBA type guys, you're going to have an opportunity to play deep into the playoffs every year. Boston is in their second NBA finals in the last 3 years. With Tatum and Brown, I think they've been to at least 6 Eastern Conference finals. So they're in the mix all the time. Now, to play devil's advocate, Kyrie, styles make fights. And I'm not trying to minimize what the Celtics have done so far, but you also need luck. You need some things to break your way. You need injuries. Sometimes you need the favorable matchup. And so in order for Boston to be that type of team moving forward, they're going to still need a little bit of breaks as well to go their way. But ultimately, I could see them being in the mix, not just the next 4 years, probably the next 8 years, because Tatum and Brown are both, I think, 20, 25 and 26, 26, 27 in that range. So they got a lot of basketball left in front of them.
So I'm kind of 50-50 on this one. Because yes, I think the team is good enough and they're young enough. However, are you gonna be fortunate enough every year to play against a team like the Miami Heat that can beat you and have beat you on multiple occasions if the entire roster is healthy? You know what I'm saying? Is the extended series getting extended? If Donovan Mitchell doesn't get hurt, and now you're going 7 games with the Cleveland Cavaliers, putting a little bit more wear and tear on, and maybe Porzingis don't get back in time for the finals. So I think things have to align for them, but they are young enough to, and they're going to be a championship contender for the next 4 to 6 years if they can keep somewhat of this core roster together. But again, you know, you're not always going to run through the injury gauntlet every year. Sometimes you're going to have to play some healthy teams along the way. I just want to see how they fare when that happens.
Yeah, that goes to my point. You need the matchups. You need the favorable matchups, and you need things to also break your way. That's not to take anything away from Boston, because I think Boston has done exactly what they were supposed to do. This is why you work hard to be the number 1 seed, to create the easiest path possible to the finals. So the Celtics have done that. But in terms of building something sustainable over 4, 6, 8 years, yeah, they're gonna need a little help, but they're still in great position. They have Tatum and Brown, and they'll build around that. Outside of them, I think Holiday's 34. I think Horford's 36. So those might be the only 2 guys that won't be there long term. But everyone else you could keep. You could find a way to keep Porzingis long term. You could find a way to keep White and develop, or find a free agent that can do some of the things that Drew Holiday can do. So there is a great chance for them to do it. But I don't want to fall victim of the moment, because we do this too often. Because last year when Denver won, we thought Denver was going back to back, right? We thought Denver was going to be here again this year. And again, styles make fights. They ran into a team that stylistically was perfect for them. So it's a long road ahead of them. For Boston, secure this one. Get this one, get this championship, and then you worry about the dynasty. Ron, hold on. I got to defend my brother here, Ron, because Ron covered for you, Triv. He said he's talking ifs. Y'all love these ifs. Well, the question, Ron, was hypothetical. It was based on, could Boston have this sustained success over the next 4+ years? So that's all in ifs, because we got to assume that they're going to stay healthy, right? If they're healthy. If they're not healthy, then they probably can't win 2 championships in 4 years. So it's all hypotheticals. Rich Drake. I want to get to Rich Drake. He got a couple good statements in here, Trev. He got a couple.
That's what I really wanted to get to, but go ahead.
He got some questions about the Olympics, but I want to get to his most recent one, because this is a good one. Mm-hmm. What is more meaningful, a USA gold medal or an NBA title? I think in the women's game, they look at the goal bigger than the WNBA title. I
To be
like this
honest,
question. Trip, go ahead.
if okay, so if on the women's side of things, I kind of would put more on a WNBA title just because it's so the difference is so crazy between the Team USA and the rest of the women basketball players around the world. I just it's not even really close. So when you're playing that in the WNBA, if you get to the finals in the WNBA, you're really playing, you know what I'm saying, all of the best of the best of the best. With the NBA, I can see them putting a lot on the gold medal, especially now because we've had so much more back and forth with the USA is not the best, hands down, no debating anymore. And you got to have LeBron and KD and all these guys come back because they can't go into the Olympics with the B and the C team. So I think for the NBA, I could actually see them putting a little bit more on that. Obviously, you want to win a chip, but you know that when you go overseas in the Olympics, there's teams. The Team USA has lost before.
I would say it. This is a great, great question, by the way. Shout out to Rich Drake.
I don't think there's any wrong answer. So
No, there is no wrong answer. So in the women's game, because the women for so long and even now they kind of split between playing in the WNBA and playing internationally. I would think the gold medal means a little bit more to them because when they play in the Olympics, they're playing against a lot of these women that they play in regular seasons wherever it is in Barcelona and Russia and different parts of Europe. So it's that competition of like I see you during that season, but now I get to rep my country and beat you for the most prestigious prize. But for the men's game, I think it's got to be an NBA Finals. It's got to be, and no disrespect to the level of competition anywhere else. But we as young men, we grow up fantasizing making the game-winning shot in the NBA Finals. And to know that my band of brothers, this team came together for an 82-game season and then went on a journey to win an NBA championship, to me, I would think it would just be more gratifying because the Team USA concept, though it is great for the country, don't get me wrong, a lot of these guys are just meshed together for a few months and then it's almost tournament style, like just go out and win. I don't feel like there's that buildup of brotherhood that you would have in an NBA season. Like right now for Tatum and Brown, they're on the cusp of winning an NBA championship. This is something that started in training camp back in like August, right? As they were preparing for the season, all those months, the work you've put in, the sacrifices, the arguments behind the scenes, whatever, anything, any obstacle you had to overcome to get to this point. And now you get to win an NBA championship and then have your name for them specifically talked about with the Larry Birds, with the Kevin Garnetts. That to me, I think would just be more impactful. Team USA is something that's put together on a short term. It's almost AAU style where it's like we're taking the best players and we're going to go out of town and run this tournament. And if we win, it is amazing. And you're going to tell everybody, I'm a gold medalist. But if you're an NBA champion, I think that's the one. Again, we're talking for this particular sport. We're not talking swimming. We're not talking nothing else. We're talking for basketball. That's the one that I would be like, yeah, I'm an NBA champion, bro. There's some legends that could never say they were an NBA champion. Karl Malone is a gold medalist. He's not an NBA champion, right? Charles Barkley is a gold medalist. He's not an NBA champion. And there's some guys who go on the Team USA who don't even play that much, but they just a part of it again because it's tournament style. So to me, I think
it's Melo.
Melo is.
I believe it's Melo.
Is it Melo? I thought KD passed him recently.
Okay.
It might be. I thought KD passed him on the last go round. I know Melo at one point did hold it, but again, as young men, that's what we fantasize about. We talk about the game-winning shot. We're talking about the finals. We don't talk about it at the Olympics against Argentina or Spain or something. We talk about it at the finals. So that's just my thoughts on it. But Rich Drake got some other great ones. Sticking with the Olympic theme. This is the one I referenced earlier. Hoop Baller Scoop posted something on his page about Rebecca Lobo making the '96 USA team despite not being a top 12 player, but she was the most popular and used to promote the sport of the WNBA. Yes and yes. So at that time, that was the Olympic Games in Atlanta. It was used as the rolling out process for the WNBA season. Rebecca Lobo was coming off a great collegiate career. I think she either just got drafted. I don't even think she had played yet, because obviously WNBA, but she was still in college, is what I'm referencing. And she was used as the rollout. And when they referenced the women's dream team, there were some women who didn't like the idea that she got the slot because she had not proven anything yet. Trip, what are your thoughts on this? Because this is what I was kind of referencing the other night about using a player's popularity to grow the game, which is exactly what they did back in '96 with Rebecca Lobo.
Similar situation. But the WNBA was nowhere near where it's at right now. And again, they still have a long way to go. I would say. So I can understand it a little bit more back then because Rebecca Lobo was probably more known than 80% of the roster at that time. Even though Caitlin Clark, Caitlin Clark is, the biggest incoming superstar, I would say, that the WNBA has seen for a while. It's it's still these women still have that level of notoriety. You know what I'm saying? Like the WNBA is still a way bigger deal than it was at that time. So maybe they feel differently. But I know that they were talking about just the training and whatnot, training camps and them playing together the past couple of summers. So I know they were talking about all of that as well. So there's a couple of things that went into it. I think we just got to get over it, man.
I agree. I know. I agree with you though, Trip. I think that it's at a point where it's like it is what it is. They've selected who they selected. Shout out to Ron because I wanted to put this statement up there as well. This kind of goes hand in hand with the conversation we're having right now. There's a debate on if Diana Taurasi should be on the team, on USA team at 42, because most likely they win without her. Let some younger players experience it. I agree with that as well. And that's no knock on Diana Taurasi. Now, my thinking on it is, I haven't heard this publicly. The reason they have Diana Taurasi on there as the elder stateswoman, this is going to give her the chance to win her 6th gold medal. And so it's almost like say that again.
Is that the record?
For women's basketball, yes, absolutely.
Yes. USA wins all of
right. But it's almost like a prestigious effort. Like, we're gonna let you get this one as well. Like I said, I think Caitlin Clark should have been on the team. I think it was a missed opportunity because I'm thinking from the business aspect of it. That's not to say that she was more deserving than anyone else. So I don't want to get into the debate of, well, she should have been on there and this person should have come off. I just think that from the standpoint of right now, she's hot and the women's game is hot. And we're talking about the women's game more than we've ever talked about it before. So why not continue to capitalize on that? And even if she's playing limited minutes, even if she's just there almost as a showcase, right? You put her there and you kind of usher in this next phase. And not just her. I think the same could be said for Cameron Brink, for Angel Reese, some of the other rookies, where you're trying to grow the game through them because they are the next wave of stars in that league. And this is your opportunity to showcase them. We know the women are going to win a gold medal, Trip. Like it's really been the most dominant sport in all the Olympics. USA women's basketball, the last 4 gold medals, Trip, they've won by at least 20 points in the gold medal game. None of those games even close. So they're not even being tested. So I think that's why I was big on showcase Caitlin Clark. Showcase her. Let the rest of the world see her 4-minute increments, 6-minute increments. Oh, we blowing this team out. Like, go ahead, Caitlin, go out there and shoot a couple logo threes and show out. But the powers that be, maybe they felt, to be fair, hey, it's too big of a distraction.
Yeah, I mean that's a possibility as well. I tell you what though, I would be okay with it if they took both of them. If they took Caitlin and Angel Reese and put them both on the Olympic team, because one, their stories are aligned. 2, I sent you some stats the other day on IG, Eric, where Caitlin is 4th in the league and what was it, in assists, and 4th in the league in threes made. Angel Reese is 4th in rebounds and 4th in steals.
Yep.
as rookies. So, even though I get it with the turnovers and the records, that always is going to, make things look worse than what they are. But I think as if they're going in as a package deal, I'd be okay with it.
Yeah, and the turnovers don't concern me because again, we've talked
Still, people
about
are going to use everything they can.
yeah, but you know what? I believe and comment section could correct me if I'm wrong. Luka led the league in turnovers as a rookie.
Mhm.
LeBron is the all-time leader in turnovers. I think the turnover stat speaks more to your usage. If you're somebody who's constantly have the ball in your hands, yeah, it's going to be some turnovers. It's going to happen. And when you're the number one pick on the worst team in the league, it's going to be some turnovers, bro. Like you're passing to some people who aren't used to playing with your skill set, with your talent. So I'm not mad about that. And I agree with you. I think not only that's why I mentioned Cameron Brink and even Angel Reese. It doesn't have to just be about Caitlin Clark. It's an opportunity to showcase just the next wave of talent coming through. Diana Taurasi at 42 years old is no different than Braun at what's about to be 40 years old playing with the Olympic team. It's an opportunity to showcase and kind of their farewell tour around the world, and everybody's gonna get excited, and that's cool. I'm not knocking that because they've done so much for the game. Diana Taurasi has done a lot for the game and even continues to do a lot now on the broadcasting aspect of it. But at some point, you got to have that forward thinking and say, hey, we got to showcase some of these other younger talents because the game only grows through them. When Diana Taurasi and LeBron James stop playing, all everyone else got is just highlights of them. What about the next wave of guys or girls in this case? You got to showcase some of them as well. Rich Gray had a couple of Team USA questions that I want to bring up now. And I'm going to kind of combine them back to back. Eric, I'm just thinking when does USA practice start? You got Tatum and Holiday still playing. I'm assuming the practice start in July. How much time would that give them? Maybe 2 weeks off, not even 2 weeks off. And then he follows up. Remember, Holiday and Booker, 2021. I believe Middleton was also part of that Olympic team after the 2021 finals flew. Yes. So it doesn't give them much time at all. After this, they may get a day or two off. Now, it also depends on how long the series goes. Keep in mind that finals that you're referencing, Rich Stray, went 6 games, Milwaukee and Phoenix. And then I think the very next day, the 3 of those guys were on a flight to meet up with Team USA to start preparing for the Olympics. I think the same thing happens here. If this is a sweep, yeah, then Holiday and Tatum might get a couple of days off. They'll get an opportunity to go to the parade and then go over there. But if this gets extended, anything beyond 5 games is going to be kind of close. They're probably going to have to meet up with Team USA after that. Terrence has a question specifically for you. Trip, Angel Reese game, not that good yet. I'm sorry, bro. Juju and Paige will be on the 2020 team for sure.
Well, when you say her game is not that good in comparison to who? Like if you compare her to Asia Wilson, no, she ain't on that level.
Mm-hmm.
But we're talking about the performance of Caitlin Clark versus Angel Reese this season. It ain't that far off. They just do different things.
Yeah. Angel Reese's game, that was one of the things we talked about pre-draft. Once I think she gets her offensive game a little more polished and figures out who she wants to be offensively, I think she's going to be a solid ball player. You can't deny the defense. You can't deny the vision and the rebounding because she's a great passer for a big. So she's going to be fine. Her celebrity may outshine her celebrity status, I should say, maybe will outshine her actual play because I don't think she's ever going to be somebody who's like one of the top scorers in the league. But she's always going to be a solid player because you can see the IQ now. You can see the passing, the rebounding, understanding concepts on defense. Like that's always going to be there. It's just going to be a matter of can she just get any consistency offensively to be somebody that you can rely on to get you 14 to 16 points every night. If she gets that, then she's going to be a very, very good player.
She's going to be averaging a double-double. So,
fair.
So, you know what I'm saying? So automatically she's going to get a boost because she's going to have a lot of double-doubles during the season. As she continues to grow and improve, yeah, because she's damn near there right now.
Right.
Okay. She's gonna if she keeps this up, she's gonna get a couple of rebounding titles. You know what I'm saying? And she's gonna improve. We're talking about 10 games into a pro career, maybe a little bit more than 10 games, but if we're just basing this off of the rookies that have come in this class, There's nobody that has far outperformed Angel Reese, and in fact, Angel Reese was just ranked. They got her #1 right now in rookie rankings.
I think, and to the second part of that statement, Terrence, it will be very interesting to see. This is one of the things I mentioned on Monday. Juju and Paige, more so Juju, because Juju's a freshman. It'll be interesting to see how we talk about her 2 years from now if she has not won a national championship. Because we love to flip the narrative when the players aren't winning as much as we want or they're not performing on the level that we want. Juju's the hottest thing smoking right now as a freshman. But if she gets to that junior year and she ain't played in a national championship yet, and there's all this pressure on her, I wonder if we're going to talk about her differently, because I think her game is amazing.
Yeah,
but I know how this. We've seen it plenty of times how this works.
It wouldn't for Paige. It wouldn't even be as long as she's in the if she's continuing to play at the level that she's playing in college and that transfers into the WNBA. She would have been in the WNBA already. So it's not like she wouldn't be an incoming rookie and never played a game and they're about to pick the Olympic team. She's
Right.
in the league already for like at least 2 years at that point. So as long as she's playing well, she would make that team as well. I think Juju might even be like after her because this is about to be her second year. So yeah, I think Juju would even have been in a year for a league. So it'd be a little bit different anyway.
By then, yes, Juju will be in the league. For
Yeah.
Paige, it will be different because I think Paige will already have a couple years under her belt before that Olympic team. But I'm saying the narrative around Juju, I think, is going to be different if she's not a champion.
Yeah.
Right.
Because you know how that goes. When you don't win the chip.
Right. Juju may not win a title, but she will be great WNBA. She got the side. I agree. I think Juju's an amazing player, and I'm not saying that to not Juju. I'm just saying that. Think about the way we were just talking about Caitlin Clark when we were questioning. Well, if she don't win a championship, is she great? Then when she gets to the national championship, it's like, but she lost South Carolina. We completely overlooked the fact that she went to back-to-back national championships, right? Yeah. We made it about what she hadn't accomplished yet, and far too often in this sports media, sports debate space, that's what people do. They find the things you haven't done yet, and then just pick on those things as opposed to all the things you've accomplished. Nobody, like I've always said, my argument for Caitlin Clark, and I can play devil's advocate on either side of this argument, but my argument was show me another player on that team that was actually going to make the WNBA. She was playing with a team of girls who weren't even going to get to the next level, and yet going up against the South Carolinas and the LSU's teams that we knew were producing multiple elite level players. And Caitlin Clark was doing more than holding her own. She was carrying that team, and we were still finding reasons to nitpick her game. So unfortunately, Juju is going to face that same criticism because the moment we get tired of you being the pretty new shiny, a narrative, then it's like we got to create another narrative. So we'll see how that plays out.
He just says in regards to Juju, I have been one that has been of the when we're talking about the storylines and comparing Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese to Magic and Bird. Yes. And I said, and then when Juju comes up, she's gonna be like when MJ came back. So
and a very real possibility.
Yeah, so I have a lot of respect for Juju and her potential and what I think she can be going into the WNBA.
Shout out to Will Gordon. I see you, bro. Appreciate you always. You already know. And we're gonna be live again. We're gonna take this question from Terrence. We're gonna check what else we got, and we're gonna get ready to wrap up because we know tip-off is a few minutes away. As always, make sure you subscribe to the Sanchez Show and Real Fans Real Talk. The Sanchez Show will be live again on Saturday night for the pregame of Game 4. And then on Monday, we're following up Real Fans Real Talk. Make sure you are following Trip Young and myself. You see our social media handles right there at the bottom. But yeah, let's get a couple more in. Will, let me know what your predictions are for the night. We've gone over the game. We've gone over some of our thoughts, what we think is or what we're expecting to happen tonight. A lot of great questions and comments. Shout out to the supporters as always. This is the one I think you're referring to, Terrence. He said, I want your thoughts on my Clark comment above. I'm thinking you're talking about this one here. Do y'all think Caitlin Clark has been stressed doing this? I wonder if she's having fun in her rookie year. And Diana Taurasi, of course, playing her 6th Olympics is a record for men and women. KD is playing in his 5th. I think she's been stressed. I think she's also been worn down. It was a very quick transition from her collegiate career into her WNBA season. There wasn't much of an off season. From some of the things I've read, from what I've read, she had no practices with her teammates before the season even started. So any practice they've had has been in season. And it's a lot of pressure and it's a lot of attention. And similar to what Angel Reese faced last year, during her last year in LSU, you get all this attention, you get some of this negative backlash, you get people looking at you differently. And for these young women, this is their first time in the spotlight. This isn't like the highly touted high school athlete who's been talked about for years and years. A lot of people weren't even talking about Caitlin Clark until last year. So this is all new for her, and I do think she has been stressed out by it. But I think she'll be able to handle it as time goes on. What you think, Trip?
Yeah, I mean, she's a competitor, so say she's been stressed. I don't think so. I think she's the ultimate competitor, and I think she's someone who has the mindset of, I really don't care what you say because ultimately I'm better than you. And once I get a team that's better than this, we'll show you that I'm better than you, and I'll be looking like Caitlin Clark in college again. So I just think she's too much of a competitor to really just be like, oh, she's stressed out, and no, because she's still. It's not like I've seen her play and it's like, damn, she ain't no effort tonight, no nothing.
Right.
Like she don't want to be there. No, every night, even in the game when she wasn't doing nothing and they got benched. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't like there was no effort there. They just have a really bad team, and some nights you just don't have it going. But the heart is always there, the effort is always there. So I don't know about stress. Regular bumps and bruises you taking along the way. Yeah, but that's every rookie is dealing with that. It just They may not be on that big of a scale because they don't have that star power coming in as a incoming rookie.
Yeah. Will says 98-93 Mavs tonight. I think Mavs win tonight. I think that sounds like a pretty realistic score. And then obviously get back into the series. There's one main question that we didn't get to that we're going to get to right now. We'll end it off right now. Again, tip off 3 minutes away. Ron wants to know, Stephen A said today, Cavs job is better than the Lakers job. Thoughts? I agree. Because if you're the Cavs, or if you take the Cavs job, you got a little bit more young talent. You got a little more flexibility. And ultimately, you don't have the shadow of LeBron James who will kind of dictate what you do as a head coach. And even if the Cavs don't keep Donovan Mitchell, you still got some good young pieces and Evan Mobley and Darius Garland to kind of build around. The Laker job is a high-profile job, as we highlighted. You got the shadow of LeBron wanting to control what gets done. So for a first-time head coach, I think the Cavs job is better. If you're a fully established head coach, maybe you like the Lakers job better. But for me personally, I do think the Cavs job is better. Trip, what you think?
All right, so I think either way, what I'm saying, it's gonna come down to winning. I don't know if either one of those teams can win a championship anytime soon. But I guess the only thing I would say is winning in LA is bigger than winning in Cleveland, especially since they've already done it now. So if it was like their first one before they came back and had that championship run. But since that's already out the way, I don't think either one of these teams, like if I'm just looking at it right now, is winning the championship anytime soon. But if they were both championship contenders, winning in LA would be bigger than winning in Cleveland.
I agree. Status-wise, it is. And I agree with that. We're going to get ready to wrap up on that note. Again, shout out to all the supporters. Shout out to all the comments, everybody locking in. We're coming back for Game 4. I'll be live 7:30. Trip might join. We'll see what's going on. Oh, no, that's Balling for Peace night. Trip.
Yeah.
Trip might be in the comment section. I don't know if we're going to get him on live. He might be in the comment section. But
how tired I am after that.
Yeah, no, I know. Ball of Peace. Shout out to H. It's a major night, major event. Make sure you guys are subscribed again to the Sanchez Show as well as Real Fans Real Talk. Pregame Game 4 will be going down Saturday night. Then we got the weekly recap, Real Fans Real Talk, on Monday night. Make sure you guys lock in. Enjoy Game 3 tonight. From my brother Trip Young, I am Eric Sanchez. This is the Sanchez Show. We'll see you guys before Game 4. We out of here, man. Have a good one.
Peace.